At 4 in the morning, while most of the city is still dark, Dwayne Johnson is already awake, not sluggish, not scrolling his phone, not hitting snooze. He's lacing up his shoes for a cardio session that starts before the sun does. And this isn't a one-time stunt for a magazine cover. This is Tuesday. This is every day. This is the actual floor his entire career stands on. And once you understand why he built it this way, you'll start to see how much of discipline has nothing to do with motivation at all. Here's the sequence. Johnson wakes up around 4, and before he eats anything, he does cardio. Not weights first, cardio first. That order matters more than people think, because on an empty stomach, low-intensity cardio pulls energy straight from fat stores instead of whatever you had for dinner. It's not about burning the most calories in the moment. It's about training his body to run efficiently before it's had a chance to get comfortable. Then comes breakfast, and it's not a small one. Egg whites, oats, a protein source. Enough food to fuel a session that most people would call a full workout on its own. Then a second training block later in the day, often heavier lifting, because by then his body has had time to actually process fuel instead of running on empty. That's the visible part. Anyone can copy a meal plan or a workout split off the internet. What's harder to copy is the reason this routine has survived nearly 3 decades without breaking. Through injuries, through movie sets that run 16 hours, through time zones that would wreck anyone else's schedule. And that reason goes back to a moment in his life that has almost nothing to do with fitness at all. In 1995, Dwayne Johnson was cut from the Calgary Stampeders, a Canadian football team, after just 2 months. Before that, he'd been kicked off scholarship-level dreams in a sport he'd built his entire identity around since childhood. He came home to Miami with $7 in his pocket. Not 700, 7. He moved back into his parents' one-bedroom apartment, slept on a mattress on the floor, and by his own account, spiraled into a depression so heavy that he described sitting in that room thinking there was no way out. His father found him and told him to get up, to move, to do something physical, because sitting still was the thing keeping him stuck. That's the part people skip when they talk about his morning routine. It didn't start as ambition. It started as survival. Movement became the one thing he could control when everything else in his life had collapsed. Wrestling came next, not as a passion project, but as a way to rebuild an identity from the ground up. One rep, one match, one humiliating minor league show at a time. By the time he became a breakout star in the WWE and then transitioned into film, the 4 a.m. wake-up wasn't a performance. It was the same coping mechanism from that apartment floor, just scaled up to fit a life that now includes a production company, a tequila brand, and a body of work that's made him one of the highest-grossing actors alive. So why does this matter to you? Sitting wherever you're sitting right now, definitely not planning to wake up at 4 tomorrow, because the actual lesson isn't the wake-up time. It's what the wake-up time is protecting. Johnson has talked about this specifically. The early workout isn't there to make him look a certain way for a movie poster. It's there because it's the 1 hour of his day that nobody else can take from him. No studio executive, no press tour, no family obligation can touch 4 to 5 in the morning. Everything after that hour belongs to other people's schedules. That 1 hour belongs to him. That single idea, protecting one non-negotiable hour before the world wakes up and starts making demands, is something anyone can use regardless of what time they actually get up. It doesn't have to be a workout. It could be reading, writing, sitting in silence with a coffee before anyone needs anything from you. The specific activity matters less than the principle behind it. Discipline isn't really about forcing yourself to do hard things. It's about building a boundary so early in the day that nothing has had the chance to interrupt it yet. There's a second piece to how Johnson talks about discipline that rarely makes it into the highlight reels. He's been open about the fact that he still has bad days. Days where the depression that hit him in his 20s resurfaces, and he doesn't pretend the routine cures that. What he says instead is that the routine gives him a floor, even on the worst days, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. The cardio still happens because it was never dependent on motivation in the first place. It became identity. It became something closer to brushing your teeth than something closer to a New Year's resolution. This is where most people get stuck when they try to build their own version of this. They wait to feel motivated before they start. And then they wonder why the habit falls apart the first time life gets hard. Johnson's version works because it removed the feeling requirement entirely. The workout doesn't ask whether he feels like it. It just happens. The same way a scheduled flight takes off whether or not the pilot is in a great mood that day. There's also the matter of food, which people tend to reduce to, he eats a lot of chicken and rice. And while that's not wrong, the more interesting part is how he treats slip-ups. Johnson has talked openly about his cheat meals, and the framing he uses is deliberate. One meal off track is just one meal. It doesn't have to become one bad day, which doesn't have to become one bad week. The discipline isn't in never breaking the pattern, it's in how quickly you return to it. That's a very different definition of consistency than the all-or-nothing version most people carry around. The one where a single missed workout feels like proof the whole plan failed. Look at the results, and it's easy to assume this is just a genetic story, a guy who was always built for this. But the $7, the mattress on the floor, and the years spent grinding through independent wrestling shows for almost nothing tell a different story. The empire, the film career worth hundreds of millions, the brand built on reliability and hard work, all of it sits on top of a routine that started as the only thing keeping a 23-year-old from falling apart completely. There's one more layer worth sitting with, and it has to do with how he treats setbacks that are completely out of his control. Not just the ones caused by a missed meal or a skipped session. Johnson has torn muscles on set, been hospitalized, buried people he loved, and gone through a public divorce, all while maintaining a filming schedule that would break most people's bodies before it broke their spirit. In every one of those moments, the routine didn't disappear. It adapted. Injured, the cardio became rehab work. Grieving, the early mornings became quiet time before anyone else needed anything from him. The structure flexed without collapsing, and that flexibility is the part that separates a real system from a performance for the cameras. A routine that only survives when life is easy was never really a routine. It was a mood. That's really the pattern worth carrying from this, not the specific wake-up time, not the exact number of eggs. It's the idea that the hardest, most disciplined structures in a person's life are usually built during their lowest moments, not their highest ones. Johnson didn't build this system after he became successful. He built it before, as the thing that made success possible in the first place. Whatever version of a 4 a.m. cardio session you need in your own life doesn't have to look like his. Just has to be yours, protected, non-negotiable, and there whether or not you feel like showing up.